Shah. Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Because all the blessings that we're going to get, which is entailing the kingdom of heaven, Isaiah the 60th chapter, I'm going to start at the 10th verse and read on down. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So the sons of strangers, that's talking about the actual strangers, the other nations, shall build up thy walls. We're going to have them in slavery. So they're going to be building the kingdom of heaven, because we're not building nothing. We're not lifting a hand to move nothing. It says, for in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles. That's talking about the actual Gentiles. We're going to take all of their substance, and that their kings may be brought.
And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Verse 13. And the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. Land of Jerusalem is going to be made glorious. It's going to be made glorious once again. The kingdom is going to be built up. We had a taste of that during the time of Solomon's reign, which was for about 40 years. Verse 14. The sons also of them that afflict thee shall come bending unto thee, and they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the sole of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord. The word Zion means monument, the monument of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breasts of kings, meaning we're going to take all their substance. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord thy power, the Lord and thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring thee gold, and for iron I will bring thee silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. And I will make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and the power thy glory. The sun shall no more go down, meaning our kingdom is not going to go down. In other words, once we get back in power, we're going to be in power forever. The sun is never going to go down on our kingdom again. The sun is never going to set on our kingdom. We're going to always shine, and we're going to always be in that glory once we get into the kingdom of heaven. There's no more going back into slavery under the other nations. Esau's not going to rise back up and put us in captivity. Ham, Japheth, Ishmael, none of the other nations are going to rise up and take us down ever again. When we get on top this time, we're going to remain on top. Neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for the Lord shall be thy everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. So no more mourning, no more crying, no more vexation of spirit, no more weeping, no more hopelessness because of the condition that we're in as Israelites right now. Verse 21, thy people also shall be all righteous, they shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. Verse 22, a little one shall become 1,000. This is in the kingdom. So what is this talking about? We're going to have sex. Again, like I said, the 2/3 that are going to pass in this destruction, the 2/3 are going to come back through the 1/3 that make it. The Lord said, 2/3 shall be cut off and die, and the third will I bring through the fire. It says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being our examples to his young brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right, what I want to get into, all right, this morning, dealing with morning news and prophecy. The world is going digital, and just a look at how digital the world is becoming, because in order for the devil, to make this MOTB, all right, this RFID chip, which is the Quran, the mark spoken of in Revelation the 13th, 16th chapter. It's like in Revelation the 13th chapter, verse 16. But in order to make it what they call interoperable, or to operate within the Internet of Things, well, they have to make everything digital. And this is what they're doing. And some countries are further ahead than others, but this is a global rollout of a digital world system. And they want everything centralized, all right, and they want everything, and they want to be able to control, the movement of everything on a whole another level. They want more control than what they already have, and ultimately this is a digital enslavement in process. That's the big trap. The scriptures speak about the snare and the trap. When we always go into the prophecies, we go into the snare and the trap that's being laid. Well, this is the snare and trap. They're entrapping people, to the digital system, which is going to lock you into the digital rebellion against Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Because if you receive this MOTB, there's you, all right, bending the knee, to a system that's rebellion. All right, that's rebelling against Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. So I want to get into some precepts first, and then get a few articles, and then also I want some videos I want to go into just to show, that the elites, they've been rolling this out for a while, and they're putting these nations online digitally, so they can make this thing mandatory, man. It's all about getting to the point of making the MOT mandatory. So that's why you're going to see a big push with this infrastructure. Because the infrastructure, all right, that's what takes the time to build out. But to make it mandatory, just going to be a 5-minute speech, a 10-minute speech to make this thing mandatory. But the process comes in the infrastructure, being built up to make this thing mandatory. All right, and we're watching it roll out. Now, let's go here, because one thing the devil had done, when you go to Psalms 2 and 1, and we always get it, but I want to get this word, conspiracy. When you go into Psalms 2 and 1, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? And this is all the heathen, and at the head of this is Esau Edom. Because at the head of this, what they call a conspiracy, well, you want to go into their word, because Esau has, made this word conspiracy, into a bad thing. When someone is what they call a conspiracy theory. So when you call out conspiracies, They call you a conspiracy theorist, which that term is used to discredit information that's coming out against this devil. So this devil has came up with these terms, okay, conspiracy theorists, okay, to discredit any information that's coming out against him. All right, to laugh off. He's made conspiracy theories into, these bugged out, whacked out, these unhinged people of society. When you think of conspiracy theory, someone that when Esau pushes this word, this term conspiracy theories, well, you think of someone that's uncouth, okay, and then you discredit everything that they say, and that's a psyop done by Esau to discredit any information that speaks against him, man. Okay, but when you go into the Bible, okay, which the Bible speaks heavily against Esau, okay. So the Bible, the Bible conspiracy theorists, okay. So the Hebrew word is ragash, all right, and it says what? To be in tumult or commotion, to conspire or to plot, to conspire or to plot, man. Okay, so these heathens headed by Esau Edom are conspiring. Let's get this word conspire. Okay, when we call these things out and they say, oh, y'all conspiracy theories, even other Israelite camps, oh, y'all conspiracy theories. You see? Well, let's just go into the word conspire. And what does it mean? Okay, conspire. It says aspire or plan maliciously, which is maliciously going towards something that's harmful. Okay, and this devil's this new world order agenda, doesn't he want to depopulate over 7 billion people? Doesn't he want to unalive 7 billion people? Doesn't he want the population down to 500 million? Okay, from over 8 billion to 500 million. You see, that within itself, that's not malicious. Doesn't he plan on doing this? Okay, to put a device in everyone. Okay, to merge him with his technology so he can control every aspect of everybody's life. Okay, it says to agree together to commit a criminal, all right, or a reprehensible act. And this new world order is a criminal act, man. This man is trying to hijack creation from the Most High. He's trying to re-engineer creation. This is a criminal act, man. This is a reprehensible act that these devils are trying to pull off along with these other nations, man. Okay? So they are conspiring, man. And this is not a theory, it's a fact. This is what they're doing. Okay? They want one world government, one world currency, and one world religion under Satan. Okay? This is a reprehensible act being planned, that these nations have agreed upon. And we're going to show you that these nations are in agreement. Okay? It says to conspire, to agree, to unite. Okay? Are not these nations united? All right? Or uniting? Okay? Under this new world order agenda? Okay? To plot, to literally, to breed together. Or to talk or to discuss together. Okay? So these devils are conspiring, and these nations are conspiring with them. Okay, to commit a criminal or reprehensible act, man. They're planning maliciously, man. Okay, and the scriptures call them out directly. Why do the heathen rage? Why do the heathen conspire? Okay, because that's what they're doing. They're conspiring. So when you go to, let's go back. Let's read it again. Okay, Psalms 2:1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Okay, and this vain is futile. This is let me see. Let's go into the NLT. It's vain because vain goes into empty. So this is an empty plan. Okay, it's futile. It's irrelevant. Everything that these heathens are doing. It said, why are the nations so angry? Okay, why do the nations conspire? Why do they waste their time with futile plans, man? Okay, so everything that these nations are conspiring to do, everybody's going digital now. Everybody's talking about this one world currency. Okay, Everybody want to implement this digital system, this digital infrastructure within their society, man. Okay, and they're doing this, and Esau wants to replace the Most High with his technology, man. Okay, this is a futile plan. Okay, this is empty. This is foolish. Verse 2 said, the kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord and against his anointed one. Okay, because this plan is to cross out Yahweh Shai, cross out the Most High, cut them out to play. Okay, to where these elite, these oligarch families of Esau, Edom, they can be the Most High. Okay, this is what we seeing these devils doing, man. This is what they're trying to pull off. Okay, this is what they're plotting. This is what they're conspiring. They're doing it. You see, it's happening. You can't say conspiracy. They're doing it. You know, they're in scrapes because they're having a hard time to, pull certain things off. Okay, but they're attempting this thing, man. Okay, so it says, verse 3, it says, let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. Okay, and he thinks that, if he can get everything digital, if he can have everything interconnected, okay, the internet of things, the internet of bodies, okay, and the devil feels as if he can get this thing on board, okay, he can undermine the Most High. He can upset prophecy. He has some type of victory if he can pull this off, man. He's free from the restraints of having to deal with the Most High. Okay, to where he can just be in the seat of the Most High. Okay, he can sit in the seat of the Most High and be responsible for creation, for existence, for people, for for the earth. Everything gonna go through him now. Forward all the Most High responsibilities unto him. This is the thinking of the devil, man. And he has these nations in cahoots with him. That's why when you go to, okay, when you go to the book, okay, of Revelation chapter 18, which this goes into the destruction of Babylon, okay, of America. This is Revelation 18. I started at 2. It says that he cried with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. This is post-destruction. Because this is the only thing this is what America is going towards, the ultimate destruction, man. That's why everything that America is doing, it leads them closer to this destruction. Everything that every move that America makes, it leads them to this destruction, man. It says Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay, because this place is going to be turned to a desert, only inhabitable by desert creatures, man. All this plotting and scheming and wickedness. And we're going to see who at the forefront of all this wickedness, man. Who's influencing these nations in this wickedness? It's America, man. Okay, so America's at the forefront of the rebellion. That's why it's going to get the worst part of the punishment, man. That's why it's going to be punished the most, man. Okay, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, so these nations, all right, have waxed rich through, American consumerism. Okay, America has been one global mall to the world market, to where these nations have become rich. They have enriched themselves, okay, through the American market. Okay, they've been able to enrich themselves with the American dollar by selling their resources in the American market, man. Okay, these corporations, the only way these nations have billionaires and, in these particular things, the wealth that comes to their nation, it comes from them being allowed to participate, all right, in American markets, man. But to participate in the American markets, you got to get down, okay, with the America agenda. Okay, you have to take on the philosophies, okay, and you have to drink down the fornication and the abominations of the whore. Okay, you got to conform yourself, okay, to the whore. You go into this word fornication.
Strong's G 4202. Parnaya.
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 Okay, and you go into it. Okay, metaphorically, it says what? The worship of idols. Okay, and Esau Edom. Okay, we know that he's heavy into what? Those guys in Canaan. Okay, which is nothing but Satanism. You see, and these heathens have followed America, all right, in this satanic agenda, man. Okay, which is complete rebellion against the Most High. All right, Satan, which goes into what? Shaitan, which is adversary. You see, so these nations have latched themselves on, okay, to this rebellion. You see, against Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah by following the whore. Okay, it says, other defilement of idolatry is incurred by eating the sacrifices offered unto idols, man. And this new world order is nothing but a sacrifice to Satan, man. Okay, this is a sacrifice, okay, to Satan, you know, in complete rebellion to the Most High. Okay, so let's go here. I want to get into this video here. I want to play the first few seconds of this video, then I got another one. All right, so this is India AI Impact Summit. Okay, so Finland is one of the nations that's at the forefront of digital development. Okay, Finland is at the forefront of these nations that are highly digital. Okay, so they just had the a conference with, you know, India. All right, and India is heavily developed, okay, in digital systems, man. Okay, so he's going to say something around the minute and a half mark, okay, and it's just going to show you the direction of these heathens, man. And this is what the heathens are on. Okay, the heathens ain't concerned about the throne of David. The heathens not concerned about Yahweh Shai coming back. Okay, a righteous kingdom preached in the Bible. You see, the kingdom of the Bible, these heathens are not concerned about that, man. A nigga talking about nations can be saved, man, if they just repent and keep the law. First of all, ain't no keeping the law perfectly, man. Okay, and keeping the law is not the key to salvation. Is faith. We keep the law within our faith, okay, to the best of our ability, but it's going to be faith. First, you have to be an Israelite, and then it's going to be Israelites that believe, okay, all the way until the end that's going to be delivered, man. Okay, but these heathens ain't interested in the laws, okay, of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. They're not interested in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, they're in tune with Esau and what he got going on. Okay, everybody, these nations are going digital and rolling this thing out, man, assisting Esau in this new world order, man. Okay, and that's why all of them are going to captivity. Every single heathen that survives, okay, this judgment, this destruction, they're going to captivity. Okay, so let's play this.
With me is the Prime Minister of Finland. Sir, welcome to Beyond. It's great to have you. My first question to you is about AI Summit. You're here representing your country. How do you see India hosting this big summit on artificial intelligence?
First, I have to say that I'm very thankful this possibility to participate this AI Summit. It's the issue itself. It's very important for the future of the whole planet, actually, and I want to thank India for hosting us. All has organized very well, and I think that this Congress for success.
How can India and Finland cooperate when it comes to artificial intelligence? Your country is known for technology. It is world known for technology. India has the scale for it. So how do you see the cooperation going forward?
It is just like you mentioned. We both countries, India and Finland, we both are very good in artificial intelligence, but in general, in an offer when we cooperate is this high level know-how, for example, in networks, 6G and quantum, for example, and we need AI in whole societies, in public sector and private sector, and we have to share our best practices and find solutions together.
So he said we need AI. Okay, we need AI. We need 6G. This is what the heathens are into, because this is a Finland, foreign minister, all right, being interviewed by this East Indian Elon. Okay, and this is what these heathens are into, man. Look, we need AI going forward. They into 6G, quantum, and this and that. This is what they're on, man. Okay, so let's go from here. I just want to play that little piece, but this is the main video here that I wanted to go into. All right, so let's play this. Now this is what's going on in Africa, man, and this didn't make major news. Okay, or people are so distracted. This is what Africa is on. All right, which it's a mix of Ham and Jake over there, but this is what they own. Okay, this is the whole continent of Africa, all 54 countries of Africa. This is what they're on, man. Okay, smart Africa. Okay, and they're talking about like it's the best thing ever, because remember, all right, these nations would worship the beast. Okay, the nation of the world will worship the beast, man, and this is a prime example of that, man. So let's play this.
Africa may have missed the first waves of global innovation. It watched from the sidelines as the world raced ahead with technology, industry, and digital power. But something is changing, quietly, rapidly, and much faster than anyone expected. For 3 intense days, the continent's presidents, global tech giants, and Africa's brightest young innovators gathered in one place, not to talk about the future, but to build it. And in the middle of this summit, one idea electrified the room. By 2030, all 54 African countries will merge into one single digital market. Yes, one digital Africa, one connected economy, one unified technological force. But what does that truly mean? Why was this summit unlike anything Africa has seen before? And is the world actually prepared for a digital superpower rising from the continent everyone once underestimated? Let's dive right in. For years, Africa's tech landscape felt fragmented. Every country had its own rules, its own systems, its own digital ambitions, pulling in 54 different directions. But in Conakry, at the 7th Transform Africa Summit, something shifted. For the first time, African leaders sat under one roof with a single mission that felt bigger than any nation: turn the entire continent into one unified digital superpower. The summit was led by Smart Africa, a fast-growing coalition now backed by 42 member states. Their message echoed through every speech, every panel, every deal. Africa cannot rise as 54 separate digital markets. It must rise as one. This idea carries the spirit of Africa's founding fathers, those who once imagined a continent with one government, one military, one currency. That dream still feels distant. But this one, a single connected digital Africa, for the first time, it feels within reach.
If you've written a book and want to publish it to over 3 billion potential readers, now is your chance.
Another.
And see, back then they were trying to do this outside of Esau system. You know, that's why you had, you know, the killings of Omar Gaddafi. Okay, because he was on that, you know, that unified Africa, but it was outside this beast system. You see, this is within the beast system. Okay, this digital, okay, unification of Africa. This is within the beast system. Okay, you had certain African leaders, they were trying to, okay, unify outside of this beast system. Okay, and that's why Esau constantly caused civil unrest. All right, he constantly, you know, caused, you know, economic, okay, sabotage to these African nations, or like Omar Gaddafi will come in and just put you to death. Okay, they were trying to do that outside the dollar. You see, now these nations are doing it within what? This digital currency within the beast system. Okay, the Esau all in the mix. You see, and see, people are so dumb. Okay, these government, and it shows you these governments have sold out, man. These governments are completely sold out. Okay, to this beast system, man. You know, and that's why all these nations, man, because there's a lot of Hamites in Africa. There's a lot of there's a lot of Hamites too, man. Okay, and the Lord finna judge all these heathens, man. You know, this is what the heathen is on.
Breakthrough project unveiled at the summit was the Smart Africa Data Exchange, a continental system built to help African nations share, manage, and protect their data safely. And this matters, because in today's world, data is the new gold. And for the first time, Africa is saying clearly, we want to own ours. Then came one of the most ambitious plans of all, digital ID for every African citizen. Not a national ID, not a regional ID, but a single secure digital identity that works across all 54 countries. With it, any African could travel across borders, open businesses, access services, or make digital payments without facing the usual barriers that slow down movement and opportunity. This is why this summit was different. This time, Africa wasn't begging for funding. It wasn't waiting for approval. It wasn't asking for permission from foreign powers. This time, Africa was writing its own digital future on its own terms. Now, a united digital Africa might sound like something only presidents and tech giants should care about. But here's the truth. The biggest winners are ordinary Africans. Let's break it down. When Africa becomes a single digital market, buying, selling, and moving money across borders becomes effortless. Today, if someone tries to send money from Kenya to Nigeria, it can take days, and the fees are painful. In a shared digital system, cross-border payments will be instant, as simple as sending a text message. For businesses, the transformation is even bigger. Right now, a small business in Ghana struggles to sell products to Ethiopia or Zambia. Different rules, different registrations, different digital systems that don't talk to each other. But with one digital Africa, one registration will work across many countries. A business born in one corner of the continent can scale across all 54 nations, more customers, more jobs, more growth. And for young Africans, especially those in tech, the possibilities explode. A programmer in Rwanda can work on a project in Egypt without worrying about visas. A fintech startup in Nigeria can launch in South Africa, Tanzania, and Senegal, all at the same time. In a unified digital system, African talent will move freely, even without physically moving. This is the real power of a connected continent. Digital ID would also change everyday life. Instead of needing paper documents, citizens will be able to use one secure digital identity to access government services, healthcare, banking, and education in any participating country. It would make life easier and protect people from fraud. The digital market would also bring fairness, especially to rural communities who have been left out of the digital revolution for so long. These people will finally be connected with a single digital ID. Farmers will access online markets, students will access digital learning, and hospitals will access medical data and telemedicine. In simple terms, A single digital market gives Africa something it has long been denied: the power to move, trade, create, earn, and compete without the borders slowing everything down. This is how digital unity becomes economic freedom. Now, the Transform Africa Summit made one thing very clear. Africa does not just want to join the digital age, it wants to lead in the age of artificial intelligence. The theme of the summit, AI for Africa, Innovate Locally, Impact Globally, was not chosen by accident. It represents a new mindset on the continent that Africa must build AI tools shaped by African languages, African problems, and African opportunities. But why is AI so important for Africa right now? First, AI can solve problems that traditional systems have failed to fix for decades. With AI, farmers can get instant weather predictions, diagnose crop diseases with their phones, and access market prices without middlemen. Doctors can use AI to detect illnesses faster, even in remote villages. Governments can process national data, improve security, and deliver services more efficiently. Second, AI can help Africa leap ahead. Instead of catching up with old technologies, the continent can jump straight into the tools that will define the future. This includes automation, smart agriculture, intelligent transport systems, digital public services, and advanced cybersecurity. This is why the summit pushed projects like the Smart Africa Data Exchange. You see, AI needs data to function, and Africa wants to make sure that African data stays in African hands. For too long, foreign companies have collected valuable data from African users and used it for profit. But with SADIX, Africa is building its own secure system for sharing and protecting data across the continent. AI also connects.
Esau run that, man. Okay, Esau is not letting Africa do a goddamn thing by itself. Okay, this is all possible because of Esau technology. Okay, Esau infrastructure. Okay, loans made by Edomite banks. Okay, so this devil is just rolling this digital infrastructure out everywhere. Okay, and he's on board these nations, man. Okay, and you see how they're selling it, all right, like it's salvation. You know, he's talking about this like it's salvation, man. Okay, the same people, all right, that have devastated, all right, the continent of Africa has completely exploited all the resources, all right, to these few Edomite, all right, corporations that make all the profit off the resources of Africa, okay, and leave Africa underdeveloped. But then when this nigga come in with, okay, digital infrastructure, then now he's looked at as a savior. Okay, this is the devil, man. But this is what these nations are on. Africa is on with it. All 54 countries in Africa have unified digitally, man. They're in process of doing this. Okay, India, they're on board. China is on board. Okay, Russia is on board digitally, man. You see all these BRIC nations, Brazil, okay, all of them. Okay, you go into the BRICS. What is it? Brazil, Russia, India, China, okay, and South Africa. All of them are on board with the digital agenda, man. Okay, the Shanghai Cooperation. All those different nations, they're on board with this digital infrastructure, man. Okay, but the Lord is going to have them fight because there's differences. There's still odds. Okay, this ain't no well-oiled machine. You know, these devils are at odds. The elites are divided. These nations are divided with particular points within it. Okay, and that's why it's going to be a military conflict that's going to lead to the Third World War. Okay, but overall, man, these nations are all on board with this digital, okay, system that Esau want to roll out, okay, which is rebellion, okay?
It's directly to Africa's plan for digital ID. A secure digital identity means better access to everything from healthcare to mobile banking. And AI systems can help verify, manage, and protect those identities. But more importantly, AI gives Africa the power to build technology that reflects African realities. Instead of importing solutions from Europe or Asia, African engineers can develop their own tools in Swahili, Hausa, Amharic, Igbo, Zulu, Arabic, and more. This brings digital inclusion to millions of people who were left out because existing tools didn't speak their language. The message from the summit was clear. AI is not a luxury for Africa. It is the engine that will drive Africa's digital future. And with the continent working together, AI becomes a force for sovereignty, innovation, and global impact.
Communication evolves with time and culture, and right now a new form of visual storytelling is taking over the workplace, led mostly by
And I'll leave it there, man. What you see, okay, what these devils are on and these nations are on board with it. Okay, let's go here real quick. I just want to go into this. So you go into these list of nations that are mostly digital, okay? And when you go into it, said the world's most digitally advanced nations frequently led by Singapore, Estonia, Denmark, South Korea, and Finland, okay, are characterized by high-tech infrastructure, nearly universal internet adoption, and seamless digital public services, okay? And that's what they see, digital public services, man, because that's puts them in a position where they can cut you on and off, okay, to where you can't access none of your essentials without cooperating, you know, because even when you get the CHIP, well, you're still going to have to behave in a certain manner to have access, okay, to these public services, man. And this devil, Esau Edom, what he's been doing over these decades, man, is creating the dependency on government, okay, for your essentials. Okay, people are not supposed to be dependent on the government for their day-to-day essentials in the capacity that Esau has gotten most people to depend on him. Okay, he's put himself as the middleman between, all right, the mass population and resources. Okay, and this man wants to set up a digital system where he rents you your life. He rents you existence, man. Okay, and you have to behave a certain way to have access, okay, to existence, man. Okay, you have to act according to his standard, okay, for you to have access to existing, man. This is what this devil is doing, man. He wants to be a digital tyrant, man. Okay, it says these countries, often including others like Sweden, Norway, and the UK, integrate advanced technology into daily life, healthcare, and education. All right, so you have these digital nations, okay, you know, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, you know, Canada, okay, infrastructure, digital quality of life. So yeah, these nations, they're on board, man. Okay, all these nations are on board into the digital system. All right, and America is going to be the last. By the time it's mandated in America, man. Okay, this man, that's why I say when he's about to fill his belly. Okay, because you can't just look at America and gauge how far this devil is along with his plan. You gotta look at what's happening globally. Okay, because globally he's making strides. Okay, America, he's still dismantling America to begin to implement these things. But one thing that's already in America is the data centers, man. I pulled up a map of data centers. Okay, and you look up, and America is far past everyone else. It said the U.S. alone represents 37% of the global total. So America it's like they're going to use America just one big data center. Okay, they must plan on doing a hell of a depopulation in America, man. All right, because those data centers use a lot of resources, man. Okay, in order to free up resources, they need to free up some bodies. So you go here, all right, top 5 countries, and you got America way ahead because there's 10,807 data centers globally, and America almost has 4,000 of them, man. All right. So you just look on this map, Brazil at 198, Australia, China, okay, France, Russia, okay, Great Britain, you see. So yeah, man, these devils are rolling this thing out. Okay, it's interesting. America got a lot of goddamn data centers, way more than everyone else, man. Okay, but this is what these devils are on, and these nations are there on board with it. Okay, so let's go here. Look at this in Revelation. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13. All right, in verse 15 it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, man. And this is Esau, the elites, man. Because they had the finances to revive, all right, the Greco-Roman Empire, okay, back in the earth. Okay, and now with digital, with more technology, man, that the image of the beast shall both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And now he's making the image of the beast speak, man. He's making it, all right, live. He has inspired, he has breathed inspiration into this agenda of this revived Greco-Roman. Okay, and now he's to the point to where the idols speak now. The idols of ancient Rome didn't speak. Okay, these idols speak now, AI. Okay, and now he wants people to do what? To worship the image of the beast, man. Okay, he wants people to worship this digital Greco-Roman Empire, man, that he's revived in the earth. That's anti-Messiah. Okay, and it says if you don't worship, you should be killed. Now, like I said, you had certain leaders that tried to operate outside of this beast system, and they Saddam, Gaddafi, okay, even American politician, the Kennedy, he tried to operate, he tried to opt out, okay, of the central banking, okay, and back American money by silver, okay, out of there, man. You see, in these nations, if you're not down with the beast system, okay, because they can, physically, of course, unalive your leader, but then they can sanction you to where you're outside of the market. You're separated from these markets, man. Okay, because you go into this word kill. All right, you go to the root word for kill, which we always get it.
Strong's G 575. Apa.
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 All right, which means what? A separation of a part from the whole. Okay, so a nation that's not on board, one of the tactics he will unalive, okay, the leadership, okay, and put pro-American, pro-Western, which is pro-beast, okay, leadership in place. Okay, but these nations that aren't fully on board, what does he want to do? He wants to separate them, through sanctions. Okay, cutting them out the market, man, to where they starve out. You see, and that's been the tactic of the devil, since World War II, post World War II. Okay, so what we're seeing is that these nations are bending the knee. All right, and eventually he's going to cause all to bend the knee. That's why you get to verse 16. Okay, because as he's getting these nations to bend the knee, well, the nations are going to require their citizens to bend the knee to participate, because he has to get the nations on board first to set up the infrastructure. And as he set up the infrastructure, now it's going to go to the citizens, man. Okay, verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, man. Okay, so he's going to force these nations to receive a charagma, okay, a seal, RFID seal, to participate in the system, man. Okay, and why in verse 17 that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, man. Okay, so he's coming to the point to where he's going to make this thing mandatory because he's rolling the system out. Okay, these nations are being, these governments are on board. Okay, and the government's going to force it on the citizens, man. Okay, so this is what's happening in real time. All right, just as the scripture said that they would. Okay, so yeah, I'll leave it there. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Once again, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers in peace and blessing, salutation, and hopefully. Shalom.